Hit record.
Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel.
We've been here all day.
What?
We've been here all day.
I know, we're going on 2 hours. Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan.
I'm Jessica Faust.
And if you've been here in the past couple months, you know that we're doing all of our videos social distancing style thanks to the current situation, but Zoom has been helpful. So we hope you're enjoying these equally as much as you enjoy us in the same room.
I'm kind of liking the Zoom ones.
Yeah, I feel like
I can see the faces you make when I talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like them too.
Yeah, I can see how much you hide your yawns when I'm babbling on.
It's a condition I've decided.
Oh, condition.
Maybe there's like not enough oxygen going to my brain or something.
Well, you have been painting during this time, so maybe you are oxygen
fumes.
Yeah, that could be.
Anyway. So today we are discussing a question that agents in general kind of get a lot.
Yeah, it's a big, when you make an offer of representation, here's the question, or when you get an offer of representation, here's the questions you can ask the agent. This one is always on there.
Always.
And I think it's one of those questions that I always feel like the author asks and the agent answers, but nobody really knows
why.
So give us the question.
Yes. So what is your list size? How many clients do you have? And it's an interesting question because I guess there are pros and cons to both sides of things. And I guess it'll be fun to talk about this because Jessica's coming from having done this for 20 years and having this huge client base to me sort of still building that up. But what does it mean?
What does it mean? And also what answer are you looking for? Because I don't think there's a right answer to it.
Right.
And I don't think there's a right answer for you to be looking for as an author.
Right. So as a new agent, the thing is that we've got less clients, right? We're still building our list and we're working on signing more clients and building it to what we want it to look like. But what does that mean for a prospective client? It means that we potentially have more time. We can dedicate more time to your revisions, to really advocating for you, to submitting and making sure that everything is really getting done quicker. And that is a benefit, obviously. I would never deny that. But there's also the idea of our clients list are building. So I don't know where I was going.
Well, I think the fear is that if you don't have enough clients, I guess I feel that the fear might be you don't have the experience.
Right. Which, if I may argue, I find, depending on the agency, obviously, it doesn't always kind of check out, right? Because before I ever opened up to clients, I'd been working with you for going on, 3 years? So I had all the experience I could have gotten without having done it myself.
Yeah, and throughout, BookEnds, we work very closely together. We share our lists, we share information we have about editors and publishers, we share contract information, we share everything.
Right.
To the point that when one of us is creating a submission list, you will regularly see, somebody say, anybody have any recommendations for this kind of book at this house? Or I'm debating between these 2 or 3 editors. Does anybody have any opinions? Like, we're constantly having that conversation. So as a new agent coming into BookEnds, you have all of the resources and knowledge of everybody else's years of experience to help guide you. And, so as an author, you're not just getting the one agent who may not have a giant list, you're getting the experience of all the agents in there.
Right. And I mean, we can only come at it from the point of view of BookEnds and working here. But then on the flip side, there's the idea that a more established agent, someone who's been around for a longer time, has a bigger list and therefore less time.
Correct.
But, which, I mean, you can attest to is also not always true, because by the time you get to where you are, majority of your clients are contracted and they're working hard at their books with their editors, and even like they've got option clauses, so there's less that you actually have to do for them.
And not only that, I have clients who have been on my client list for years who are just not writing. Right. They are still clients. I still do occasional things for them, especially managing royalties and checks.
Right.
But, some of them only wrote a few books and, especially in nonfiction, moved on to other aspects of their career. Some of my authors have retired from writing. So they're just not writing anymore. There's various reasons that I may have clients who are not active right now or not taking up my time.
Right.
It's an interesting part. Go on.
Sorry.
No, go.
So I think one of the important things for any querying author to remember is that we aren't going to take on a client that we don't feel we can handle.
Yeah, and I think that's your ultimate hope, that, it's not that, I know agents or have known agents over the years who frankly could only manage 2 or 3 clients. Just like their organizational abilities just couldn't manage it. Others could handle 50 and make everybody feel like they're the only client.
Right.
I think it's less about, as an author, I think it's less about looking for a magical number. And it's more about looking for how the agent answers.
Yes.
I tend to have never really had a number to that, not because I was trying to avoid the question.
But because you've lost track.
Well, I really just never counted up my clients. I never, made a list and said I have 25 or I have 30.
Again, when you get to that point too, how many people are inactive and like, what are you asking for? Are you asking for my entire client list of backlists and everything, people that aren't writing anymore? Are you asking for just the folks that are active? So it gets to a point where it's rather nebulous. Like it's hard to pin down.
It's interesting because as we're discussing this, it's making me think over my whole career and how when I was starting out and I would get this question, I would sort of panic and never know how to answer. It was my most dreaded question. When I was offering representation, it was, and still often is, to be honest, my most dreaded question, because it's always the one that I feel like I'm never sure if I know what the author wants, and I want to give them the answer they want,
Right.
but I can only give them the truth. So at the beginning of my career, I always felt like, well, I don't have enough clients. My number's not big enough.
Right. And then we are like, well, I only have 5 right now, but but this and that means this. And
Right.
there's
But
always like that tiny justification. When meanwhile, you could just be saying 5 and like, okay, cool. Like, I just need to know. Like my list here tells me to ask that question and I just want to check it off.
But now when I get the question, I think, oh my God, I don't know, like this many 30 active, but I probably have like 100 and something. And what do you know? So it's always the question that I dread. And it really is because I guess I really want to wow the author and impress them. And I don't know the answer they're looking for, but I think the thing I'm most concerned about why we're doing the video is I don't think the author knows the answer they're looking for, and I don't think they have to.
Right. I think it's one of those things, just to come back to that point in sort of closing too, is to remember that an agent will hopefully only take on another client if they actually can, and they can handle another client.
Yeah, and that's really the answer you more or less want.
Right.
Is the agent have the experience or the support system to give them the experience they need to take on my book? And, I personally am a huge fan of new agents and new editors. And I tell this to the BookEnds team all the time. I'm like, if there is an editor who has just started acquiring, that is somebody who is hungry, who has passion, and who really wants to who has the time and wants to make the commitment to an author because everything needs to work for them. So we jump all over new editors. And I feel the same way about new agents.
And I mean, also think about it, because those new agents are going to be presumably the agents that are top tier in a couple years, in 10 years, whatever. They're going to be the agents that are everybody's number one. So kind of.
And hopefully they're taking you along for the ride.
Right. And they can't get there unless somebody takes a chance on them. So.
Right. And editors or agents like me who've been around longer and have more experience, if they're offering representation, they really love that book.
Right.
Because, I already have a full list. I have a lot of authors. So I am going to be really picky because I just, you know, I want to make sure that anything I'm making a commitment to has to be there because I've already got a lot going on.
Exactly. So keep it in mind when you are asking an agent this question on the call or even through Twitter or anything, that an agent's list size isn't always indicative of what they can do for you and how much they will support
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And hopefully that helps you in, in trying to understand agents
And
and
just
their
trust
negative.
yourself. You
Yeah,
know, did the answer feel good to you or not? And
it
that's
always comes back
really
to your
all that
gut.
needs to happen. That's the right answer, the one that feels good to you.
Yes. So good luck. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get our notifications. We are posting okay. Have a good one.